And the thing I keep going back to, Mike, even with all this, is like, all right, despite all these things we're talking about, is it Gruden? Is it Mayock? Well, one thing we do is we go, wait, it's a good team, but there's nothing great on it. And that, to me, bolsters more of the argument for Rich Bisaccia to go, he should be the head coach. Look, I mean, all the issues he had to deal with, your team's not that overly talented, and the way they finish the season and then go into the playoffs and have a chance to win or tie that game and send it to overtime, he wasn't exactly coaching a team that's sitting there, you're going, oh, wow, they're a talented, really good football playoff team. No, there was questions about them. We were all going, damn, the Raiders got in the playoffs. That was kind of a miracle, I think, the way we looked at it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the reality here. After Gruden left, and we know what happened, we know how it happened, and we know what the consequences were, Mayock helped stabilize things.
Yeah.
Rich Bisaccia helped stabilize things. They worked and climbed and fought and got to the playoffs and lost by only 7 points against a Bengals team that seems more than 7 points better than the Raiders. So
that's right.
That's why I was even a little more pissed yesterday to see the word get out of the candidates to be interviewed before it was announced that Mike Mayock wouldn't be back. That's just a horrible, horrible look, and it shows zero gratitude for a guy who had to deal with a lot of S-T over the final few months of the season and still helped the team get to the playoffs. Now, Bisaccia had more to do with it. What does a general manager really do during the season other than churn the bottom of the roster? But still, you're there, you stabilize, you lead, you assist, you serve, and you help the organization through one of its darkest times of the last generation, if not longer than that. It just feels like Mark Davis didn't show the right gratitude toward Mike Mayock by creating this bizarre spectacle that played out in real time for an hour yesterday where we're saying, why are they interviewing general manager candidates when they have a general manager? Now, they technically don't have a coach because Rich Bisaccia's time as the interim coach ended when the season ended. There's been a push from within the organization, specifically the locker room, for Bisaccia to get the job. Here's a little bit of Bisaccia from yesterday before Mayock was fired. Because, Chris, I don't think Mayock getting fired is good news for Bisaccia. But let's hear from Bisaccia based on his conversations with Davis.
Mark and I have had some conversations. There's due process. He has to interview some other candidates, as I well know. I'm very respectful of the process, what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to work. And I think we'll be in constant conversation, and we'll certainly talk again before the week is over.
I think we can all think that he's the right guy. I've never seen someone with the ear of the locker room, not just one player, not just one side, but everybody, He's proven, that he people listen to him, and not just people, but our team listens to him. And the fact that that staff kept everything together and kept us competitive and kept us winning, finding ways to win football games, I think that's what our organization is about, right?
Yeah, look, Derek Carr and the players want Rich Bisaccia, and they're not afraid to say so publicly. It puts Mark Davis in a really tough spot because if you don't hire Bisaccia and you hire somebody else, that guy on his way through the door has extra baggage, has an extra challenge on top of everything else. And, yeah, the new coach is always going to have to get the attention and the affection and the respect of the players on the way through the door. But when you got guys in that locker room who may be a little salty, and we know there's going to be turnover, but still there's going to be guys back that played for Bisaccia. There's going to be guys that aren't going to be as accepting, and they're going to be a little skeptical. Now, look, it's on them to be professionals and accept the decisions made by ownership, but I think it's got to be a factor for Mark Davis. But the fact that Mayock is gone, as I said before, we heard from Bisaccia and Derek Carr, the fact that Mayock is gone tells me Bisaccia isn't getting that job. That it tells me Mark Davis is going to hire a GM who's then going to hire the coach, and somebody who's walking through the door isn't going to give a crap about what Bisaccia did the last 3 months of the season.
I mean, that's the way it looks like it's shaping up. I would agree with you. Again, we don't know that, but yeah. I think if you made me bet and go, wait, a week from now, is Bisaccia still the head coach? Yeah, and all right, wait, Mayock's not there. They're going to get a new GM. I would probably say no, it doesn't look like it's going that direction. I would say be careful about that. again, this is something Mark Davis needs to really think about. Because, one, like you talked about, you made all the points. You heard me say on Saturday, Bisaccia, out of all the coaches I was ever with, other than Mike Tomlin's the best communicator I was ever around. I mean, he's that kind of guy. You heard it from Derek Carr there. He's got the ear of everybody in that locker room. He has the special Midas touch with guys. He's got that way, just like a Mike Tomlin, where they can mother F you and tell you some bad things, but do it in a way where you're like, he's doing it because he cares about me and he wants me to get better. And it's not like malice or like to the point where he's just degrading me as a human being. That's where he's got a really great touch. He understands how to manage the football game. We saw that throughout down the stretch, And then adding on to that, I just look at it and go, we just talked about the roster isn't like overly talented. The positive things I look at the Raiders a little bit is the coaching staff. Olsen's a good offensive coordinator. He's a lot like Gruden. We saw they got all the answers you need to execute an offense the right way without really being that talented once again. No marquee receiver, offensive line kind of a work in progress. Defensively, not many household names or superstars. Max Crosby, some people know Yannick Ngakoue. Gus Bradley's a really good coach, the inventor of the Seattle scheme. Nobody coaches it better. Man, do you want to upset the apple cart and do that? To me, those are some of the positives of the Raiders. You add some players to the equation for these coaches, and I go, whoa, they might be able to be something. So that's where I look at Mark Davis and go, he's got to think long and hard about this one because of the effects in the locker room like you brought up, but also there's some things in place there where I'd go, you sure you want to blow this up? Really? You sure you want to do that?
Hey, and this gets back to one of the things I find most fascinating about the National Football League. Multi-billion-dollar organizations that are in place to put the best possible product on the field, make the most money as possible, well-oiled machines, ultimately owned and operated by a system that is essentially a monarchy. Mark, how did you become the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders? Well, my dad owned the team and he died and I took over. No qualifications, objectively. No reason to think he has any idea what he's doing. And I'm sorry if people don't like that, but it's true. There's no reason to think that just because Mark Davis's dad was a successful owner of an NFL team, that Mark Davis is going to know what the hell he's doing. He's owned the team for a decade now. What have they done over the course of the last decade? And so we look at times like this for evidence that he knows what he's doing. And he's kind of a funny character. He's different. He's a maverick. But that doesn't mean he knows how to run a football team. That doesn't mean he knows how to make these decisions. And we talked earlier about attention to detail when it comes to coaching. Back to the window of 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern on Monday, when they're interviewing or requesting permission to interview GM candidates while they still have a GM, that is the hallmark of what we call a chicken bleep operation. It just is. And I'm sorry, Raiders fans, if you don't like it. I'm sorry, Raiders organization, if you don't like it. Don't be a chicken bleep operation, and we won't say it. It's embarrassing to the Shield to have things like this happen. So Mark Davis is your guy who's going to shepherd the team through this time. And it would be nice to hear from him at some point. Wouldn't it inspire confidence in the process if he would do a press conference explaining how they got to this point and where they plan to go from here? Wouldn't that be helpful to the fans to have some sense that whatever momentum was gained over the course of the last 3 months isn't just going to be pissed away? It just feels like it's going to be pissed away. And this, I'm back in the mode I was in last week where I feel like I'm the defender of every fan base, where you need to expect more, you need to demand more, because at the end of the day, you can't get rid of your owner. So just pressure him to be better. Force him to be better. Ask him to be better.
I mean, I hear you. I do. Again, hey, most of these owners aren't qualified to make these decisions.
I know.
So
I know.
That's just it is what it is. Whether
he's just the one who's on the tee right now.
I know.
Now, Stephen Ross at least bought his team.
Well,
he
inherited, bought, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still, yes, it's a lot of them get bad information. The people they talk to don't lead them the right way. Yeah, they don't handle it the right way themselves because, like what you talked about, there's an arrogance. Wait, I was good in this field, so I should be able to just come over here and be good at this, even though I got no prior knowledge. Nobody's taught me anything, whatever. So those are all the issues there we see. But I hear you, and I think you make a good point in the fact that, hey, him having a press conference talking about the state of the union of the football team a little bit, that might go over well with Raiders fan base, certainly. It's a shaky time. You don't know where the hell things are going right now. There's no doubt about that. But it's certainly one to, keep an eye on here. It's a job that I think is going to be coveted, certainly. There's still some things in place to like. It is the Raiders. It's a marquee organization in our league with an awesome stadium, facility, everything that way. And, a canvas there that's not blank, but some pieces, and you can build off of it to go, wait, we got some things here to where a year or two we could really be something with what we got in place already.
I used the Ferrari example last week. I thought of a better one since then. These really rich folks go out and buy super yachts. And that's fine. You want to spend $250 million on a super yacht, God love you. You're employing the people who build it. You're employing definitely the people who run it, because the bill per week is astronomical just to maintain one of those things with the crew that's on there. You want to get a super yacht? Fine. The difference is the NFL is the race of the super yachts. You're racing against the other yacht owners, and people give a damn about how those races turn out. That's where the obligation becomes more than just to yourself. You want to have a crappy yacht that can't beat any other yacht in a race. If nobody cares, fine. Too many people care. You're relying on people to pay money. You're relying on people to be invested, to watch the games on TV, to buy the jerseys and the hats. You need them to be excited about it. And that's why I feel like some of these owners need to be held accountable, because there is no process for holding them accountable. Fire the coach, fire the GM, cut the player, do this. But the owner's still there. It's the Jed York quote from 6 years ago. Can't fire the owner. Well, but you can at least try to tell the owner that, like the emperor who was riding buck naked down the horse or down the street on a horse, or down the horse on the street, maybe you should cover up. Maybe you should do things a little better. And that's all we're trying to do. This is a free service for Mark Davis to get your house in order, because I have a feeling whatever they did good this year, the last 3 months, great story. I have a feeling they're going to be back to square one, and all that goodwill is going to be squandered, because it feels like we're starting down that path. All right, let's.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.